We have an update on the WWE future of Vince McMahon, and we find out why WWE had their eye on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But first, let's get to some quick fire headlines, as after Jay Lethal's win over Darby Allin last night on AEW Dynamite thanks to an assist from a masked Cole Carter, Sting's entrance music would play, although the icon was nowhere to be seen. Instead, third generation promoter Jeff Jarrett would make his debut, taking Darby out with a trademark guitar shot to the head. It was later confirmed that Jeff is now signed to AEW as the company's director of business development, with him working in the live events department, helping the company both on and off screen. There would once again be a vignette teasing the return of the Elite to AEW, and the clip would show their trio's title win at All Out before it was deleted by an editor who replaced it with the Death Triangle's trio's title win instead. An advertisement showing Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks would also be shown before they were replaced by the Death Triangle. Their impending return follows their suspension after the post-All Out backstage brawl with Ace Steel and CM Punk, with the investigation now being complete, although their return date is still unknown. Last night, Saraya would show up for her scheduled sit-down interview with Renee Paquette and her current rival Britt Baker. However, Britt was nowhere to be seen. Renee would ask Saraya if she is able to wrestle again following her forced retirement in 2018, and although she wouldn't confirm or deny it, she instead wanted to save the revelation for next week when she sees one more doctor, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. The show would also see Billy Gunn's birthday celebration take place, hosted by The Acclaimed. During the segment, Anthony Bowens would joke about Gunn's exclusion from the recent DX 30-year anniversary segment on WWE Raw, stating that he did have some guests planned, but some were unhappy that he missed the reunion. The segment would close with Billy's sons, Austin and Colton, spoiling the party, attacking The Acclaimed before IWGP, AAA and ROH Tag Team Champions FTR made the save. Dax and Cash would then find themselves with the AEW Tag Team title belts in their hand, a tease that they still had their eye on adding a fourth belt to their collection. Elsewhere, a vignette would air confirming the impending return of Malachi Black, alongside his House of Black recruits Buddy Matthews, Brody King, and Julia Hart. Black hasn't been seen since AEW All Out, with him since confirming that his request for a release from his contract was denied, and that he would be taking some time off from the ring. It seems that he's once again ready to get back into action, with fans excited to see what he does next. As a bonus note, YouTuber Wang made a cameo appearance in the vignette, who is one of Black's real-life friends. The show would also see 3 title defenses, first with Orange Cassidy overcoming both Luchasaurus and Rey Fenix to retain his All-Atlantic Championship. He would then be confronted by a top New Japan Pro Wrestling star, Katsuyori Shibata, going face-to-face with him after the match. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Live would note that Shibata has requested 2 matches in AEW, first with Orange Cassidy, which is confirmed to be taking place this Friday on the live episode of Rampage for the All-Atlantic belt, with his second requested opponent being Bryan Danielson, in what is a dream match to say the least. When this will happen though remains to be seen. The remaining title defenses would see Jade Cargill defeat Marina Shafir to retain her AEW TBS title, with the main event pitting ROH television champion Samoa Joe up against his latest challenger Brian Cage, with Joe walking away as still champion. The Gates of Agony would then hit the ring to attack the Samoan Submission Machine, with Wardlow eventually making the save, before Powerhouse Hobbs then laid Wardlow out with a spinebuster, holding up the AEW TNT title, making his intentions perfectly clear. WWE would recently cut 5 talents from NXT, including Bodie Hayward, Sloane Jacobs, Damaris Griffin, and Ru Feng. Dave Meltzer would take to Wrestling Observer Radio last night to reveal the real reason for this, and he noted, "The main reason was lack of progression. They thought they weren't improving fast enough. That's going to be the case. They're going to be cutting people at the 6-month mark, at the 1-year mark if they're not progressing at a certain level. Anyone who doesn't get to TV within 2 years will get cut. We're going to get regular developmental cuts, but with Bodie Hayward, it was more than that. It was the work ethic." As for our final quickfire headline, it appears that social media star Logan Paul is set to be joined by his brother Jake Paul this Saturday at WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, with Logan set to take on Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title. According to PW Insider, Jake is expected to make his debut for the promotion, with his presence no doubt bringing eyes to WWE's next pay-per-view. Jake is currently in the midst of a boxing career that has seen him fight fellow influencers and former MMA fighters, showing strong drawing power in the process. And next, AEW took a huge shot at CM Punk last night on Dynamite. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite would see an open challenge take place for the Ring of Honor World Championship, with Chris Jericho defending his belt against any former ROH champion, including the World, Television, Pure, Tag, and any other belt from the promotion's history. As many predicted, the challenge would be accepted by no other than Colt Cabana, who is a former ROH Tag Team champion as part of the Second City Saints alongside his former best friend, CM Punk. This is Colt's first appearance in the company since the March 8th edition of AEW Dark Elevation, where he would team with Alan Angels in a losing effort against the Butcher and the Blade. The return only adds fuel to the rumors that CM Punk will in fact not be showing up in AEW again, with the appearance coming across as a direct shot at the straight edge superstar. Punk himself hasn't been seen in AEW since the All Out media scrum, where he would openly discuss his problem with the wrestling media as well as his colleagues, who had allegedly leaked stories suggesting Colt's departure from AEW was his fault, something he and Tony Khan have denied. For what it's worth, in 2021, Cabana made more appearances on AEW television after Punk debuted than before, with him struggling to find himself a solid spot on the card outside of being a backstage character in the Dark Order stable, ever since pretty much his debut. With that said, despite his return to television last night, it seems that AEW still don't have any plans to make Colt a regular on the show, with PW Insider noting the match was a one-off, and they would write, "We are told Colt Cabana's appearance last night was currently planned as a one-off appearance, and he remains on the Ring of Honor roster. The moment was not about Cabana returning to AEW as a regular, but Chris Jericho beating another ROH name." For now, Cabana remains under contract to appear in Ring of Honor, which is of course owned by AEW president Tony Khan, with him perhaps set to play a key role in the continued rebirth of the promotion. And next we have an update on the WWE future of Vince McMahon. Last night, WWE would release their 2022 third quarter report for shareholders, which provided an update on the ongoing investigation into the sexual misconduct allegations made against him, as well as the hush money payments to keep them quiet. According to the report, the investigation is now complete and the special committee has been disbanded, with this costing the company tens of millions of dollars. The update then led to fans wondering if the door was now open for Vince to take back his positions at the top of WWE. However, according to sources within the company, this will not be happening. Fightful Select would provide more information on the matter, and they would write, "One WWE spokesperson was contacted for comment and said that Vince McMahon was done and would not be returning to the roles that were taken over by Triple H and several others." Beyond that, another WWE higher-up said that the morale in WWE over the last few months has been the highest they've seen it in over a decade that they've been around. The report also notes that a long-term WWE employee feels that higher-ups in the company realized that the return of Vince would be a major step back for the company. Since his departure, Triple H has taken over the creative reins, with his title being Chief Content Officer, whilst Nick Khan and Vince's daughter Stephanie are the new co-CEOs. But do you think keeping Vince away from WWE is the right call? Just write yes in the comments down below. And finally, let's find out why WWE had their eye on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. As discussed earlier in the video, Colt Cabana's AEW return last night raised doubts over the future of CM Punk and the promotion, with the two former friends having had their friendship torn apart over recent years, with no sign of reconciliation on the horizon. Given the recent report of a confrontation between Chris Jericho and CM Punk after the All Out brawl, fans have speculated that it was Jericho that pushed for Colt to be his opponent last night as one more public jab at the straight edge superstar. And whilst this is just speculation, it certainly does feel like the last nail in the AEW CM Punk coffin. However, we have more on the overall wrestling future of Punk, as the reliable Wrestle Votes would take to Twitter this morning to hint that they've heard something from their sources in WWE, who are said to have had their eye on last night's show. And the tweet would read, "Colt Cabana showing up on Dynamite last night didn't go unnoticed in Stamford. That's all I'll say on that right now." For now, the tweet is up for interpretation, but it sounds like WWE are under the belief that Punk will be exiting All Elite Wrestling soon, with last night seemingly confirming it, opening the door to a WWE return once he's back from injury. Or at the very least, they plan on speaking to him. Punk would suffer from a torn tricep during his AEW World title win over Jon Moxley at All Out, later undergoing surgery and is now in recovery. He is expected to be out for up to 8 months from when the injury occurred, which means he should be ready to go by May 2023. This also follows a recent report from Fightful that confirmed WWE do have interest in talking to Punk if the opportunity arose, with him also said to still have the quote wrestling bug. But what do you make of the whole situation? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 masked AEW wrestlers unmasked.